Cheers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford and Josh Reddick as the Astros begin a 4-game series at Camden Yards in Baltimore. On paper, it should be a get-right series. I think anyone that watched what happened with these two teams earlier this week would say it's not a get-right series. And then the Orioles left Dyken Park and went and took 2 straight against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. They're playing well. They've got some young kids that have come up and really injected some energy, some top prospects, and they're still pretty good. They just had an awful April and beginning of May that really just tore their season apart, so they had to sell at the deadline. But the focus should be on the Astros. Before we get into what we're going to do today, I wrote a mailbag that went on The Athletic today, Thursday morning. Got a ton of questions that I couldn't answer, so we're going to take some of those questions that I couldn't answer and answer them here. But before we get to that, Josh, it came out yesterday after the Astros finished off the 3-game sweep at the hands of the Tigers that there was a team meeting. After Tuesday's game. Carlos Correa apparently among those that talked, and kind of as these things go, there's not much revealed about what was said because that's kind of how these things go. Everything's kept in the clubhouse. But in general, Josh, where do you stand on the team meeting bit? Do you think it's eyewash, or do you think it's something that can help?
No, there's times where it is eyewash, and then there's times where it's needed, and you're looking at a time where it's needed. Those pointless eyewash meetings are for the birds, but this is a clubhouse where they're not having too many of these. This is, I think I could probably count 5 on my 4-year tenure with the Astros, maybe, unless we had a major announcement of some sort. But even in this tough stretches, you need these moments for guys to step up and kind of just, kill that clubhouse tension that everybody feels by nobody talking to each other and it not being really the same. Because when you're going through these stretches, it does kind of die down. The tunes don't hit as well. The vibe's not as great. So for guys to step up and be like, look, F this, let's move on. It's behind us now. We all obviously know that we suck lately. It's no secret. So, it's just getting up there, kind of spitting facts and just putting out there what people really don't want to talk about, and just kind of everybody getting everything off their chest, addressing the elephant in the room, so to speak. So it kind of just gives everybody to kind of sink down and relax a little bit more. So I'm all for it. But this is probably the last one they'll need, I would think, unless some more drastic stuff continues to happen. But after these, it does get to eyewash. Say if you have one in 3 days again, because you're just reiterating the same point you did 3 days prior. So I'm all for this.
I love Carlos Correa so much. I love that he's been here 2 weeks and he's like, everybody sit down. I got some stuff to tell you about winning from Minnesota that I learned. And everybody's like, all right, yeah, whatever. Come on in. Yell at us and we'll figure it out. Like that rules. You can't teach that of a guy coming in and stepping up. And we've talked about it throughout the year that with Bregman leaving, you really didn't have that vocal clubhouse leader. And it's clear that there was a vacuum there because Carlos Correa stepped in and immediately, filled that role for the team. But yeah, good for him. Go yell at some people, see if that works. Try anything. I appreciated, Josh, you had your strategy on Twitter of everybody do things backwards today.
I tried.
Maybe that'll work. Our friends over at Apollo burned a bunch of their stuff in a trash can outside of Dyken Park. That didn't work either. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, try anything at this point.
Yeah. I don't know that. Well, timing of these things is always interesting to me. The fact that they did it after a game in which they faced Tarek Skubal. There's no shame in not hitting Tarek Skubal. No other lineup in baseball hits Tarek Skubal. So maybe it was just, to clear the air after that, but it obviously didn't work. They went out on Wednesday and did not play any better. They did not look they didn't look like they were invigorated much. But
was Fromber at the team meeting? Because that might have been the problem. He may have missed that part and he didn't get caught up until the second inning.
No, because excuse me, no, because he would have been back at the hotel because it was a day
See?
game. He was starting.
Yeah.
Starting pitchers go back early to get their rest
Yep.
Mhm.
and go to bed earlier supposedly. But yeah, so yeah, he
See?
probably was not there.
That's what happened. That's why. It's like, when you pray for your food, if you're not in the room, it doesn't count and you'll get poisoned. Definitely not a belief I held as a child.
Is that what they taught you at church?
No one taught me that. I came up with that one on my own.
I was gonna say that was the first time I've heard that one.
Yeah, no, that was definitely not that was not given to me. That was somewhere in my psyche that I decided if I wasn't within a certain radius of the pre-food prayer, something would happen. So yeah, maybe hopefully they recorded it on Teams. That's what we do in my company. They can just play it back for Fromber. Or maybe he got one in like the third inning in yesterday's game, and that's what fixed him for the rest of it. So who knows? But what I'm hearing is Correa fixed everyone. Fromber just has to get in there now.
Do we know if it was like a team meeting or a players only meeting?
I mean, it sounds like full disclosure, I was not there. I was
obviously.
Obviously, I wouldn't have been there if I was covering the series, but I was not in Detroit. So I'm reading quotes from Brian McTaggart and Matt Kawahara, who made it seem like they did not make it seem like it was, close the door, everybody sit down, like nobody's leaving until we get this straightened out. It just sounded like a couple guys, Correa foremost among them, just like stood up and said, "Hey guys, like let's get it." For lack of a better word, let's get our shit together. Like, come on, like let's get it done. And doesn't sound like, again, when you see, these are great for headlines, these are great for coverage, these are great for podcasts for us to talk about, but it's rarely is it as serious as maybe it reads in a headline or a story that they had a team meeting. Like a team meeting can be 30 seconds long. A team meeting can be a minute long. I don't know how long it was, but I tend to think a lot of it can be eyewash, can be just maybe to show the fans, to show a very vocal, mad segment of the fan base that, hey, like we're trying to get engaged here. But I think what's really going to get them going is they've got to hit. I mean, hitting and scoring runs will help, which will lead us to the first question that I didn't have time to answer in the Athletics mailbag. It comes from Bobik, and he asks, the Astros offense has looked inconsistent all season. Do you see this as more of a temporary slump, or is there something fundamentally different about the lineup compared to previous years? And then he asks, do you think getting Yordan back will make a big impact on our offensive production? Yes, obviously. But let's go to his first point. Josh, do you see like fundamental differences in this lineup that you've watched in 2025, maybe as opposed to the 5 or 6 that preceded it?
Well, I mean, you got to look at personnel to start off. There's different people in that lineup that, can alter a lot of things. Like you said, we lost Bregman, we lost Tucker. Those are 2 guys who had very, very good careers in an Astros uniform. So it's hard to really kind of replace guys like that too. And you have new guys as well coming in. But I think it's more of like the fundamentals of baseball affecting the teams is more of just a team going at it. Because, I mean, you see it's so big on homers and strikeouts, and I can't stand watching it every night because it's infuriating. Just touch the ball and hit it and see what happens. But I don't think so. I just think this is a game that already requires failure to succeed is okay with even more failure on a disappointing level, in my opinion. That's just so live and die by the long ball. And then you get so many strikeouts that amount to it. So I think it's kind of that. But I mean, we've seen signs of this lineup doing fantastic runs against great pitching. So, I mean, that's something that, kind of gets put on a back burner, I think. Like, yeah, they make guys with 8 ERAs look like Cy Young on the mound. And outside of Tariq Skubal, they've pretty much ruined Garrett. I think they ruined Garrett Crochet's Cy Young bid. So, I mean, they've done really good against top-notch guys. So that is one sign. You get to the playoffs, that's all you're going to face is top-notch guys. So I don't think it's a prolonged season slump. It's just, gosh, if they're doing this with a 6-game lead, are we really worried? Are we really talking that much about it? But, in hindsight, we should be lucky and thankful that the Seattle Mariners are just as deep in a hole as the Astros are right now. So just be happy you're still in front.
Would it shock you to learn that they are in the top 10% as far as like good strikeout percentage? They have the 10th lowest team strikeout percentage in baseball.
How often do they strike out with runners on and in scoring position, though?
Well, that takes me a little bit more time to figure out, but
Come on.
it's not as if they just have
It's not every time.
disappeared. Yeah. Now they're not walking a lot. I mean, that's very clear watching them. They're one of the lowest amount of walks team wise, but they're not striking out at like an abnormal rate. They've been pretty good overall with that. But yeah, you're right, Josh. They're just a lot of situational stuff. It does feel, they do get runners on. Like we've talked
They
about that.
hit.
They get people on. They just have not been able to bring people in, especially in the last couple of weeks. That's been rough to watch.
Just a
Josh,
sack fly. You know how easy sack flies are
I don't.
for a
I,
big league player?
I can't fathom anything hitting is easy.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. But I mean,
Remember when
first,
Joey Gallo went like 2 years of his career without having a sack fly?
yeah.
That was fun.
Remember when he had more career home runs than singles?
Yeah. What a guy.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that. What a guy. Great human.
Since you asked, Josh, the Astros have struck out 263 times with runners in scoring position this year. That's 11th most in baseball. The team that struck out the most with runners in scoring position this year is the Boston Red Sox, and they have one of the better offenses in the sport. That's a byproduct of they are getting more at-bats with runners in scoring position, so inherently some of those at-bats are going to end in strikeouts. I think the thing that has frustrated fans, and I think the thing that's frustrated, maybe even some others that are maybe in the organization, I'm not sure, but Dana Brown this winter was pretty forthright in saying, like, we chase too much, we don't see enough pitches. This team, he promised some makeovers, he promised just some different ways of doing things, and to give them credit, they did. They went out and got Isaac Paredes, who sees the most pitches per plate appearance of anybody in baseball. They went out and got Christian Walker, who last season saw over 4 pitches per plate appearance. This season, he is seeing 3.88 pitches per plate appearance. The Astros are tied with the A's, Marlins, and Blue Jays for seeing the fewest pitches per plate appearance in baseball. Nothing has changed from that aspect. And part of it is, look, Isaac Paredes hasn't been in the lineup now for a month and a half. That's when you take that guy out, that's a lot of that is the main guy that was going to help this and turn this around. And Yordan Alvarez, for his part, too, is a guy that does see a lot of pitches as well. It may not be top of mind as a guy that works deep at bats, but he's very rarely a guy that's swinging the first couple pitches. But this is a lineup that just inherently, Jose Altuve swings at everything. He is a free swinger. He swings early in counts because he's good at it, because he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame, because that's how he's done business for 15 years. You're not changing that overnight. Yainer Diaz is a guy that swings at everything and is a guy that is, that is the one I think they need to. I'm not saying they're going to turn him into a guy that's seeing, 12 to 15 pitches per plate appearance, but his discipline has got to get better at the plate. Christian Walker maybe has to get to where he was last year, but those are the root causes for why it seems like so many problems from last year are showing up this year. A lot of it's injury, like Isaac Paredes has been gone. Christian Walker has underperformed, and those things have dropped. But
that Yordan guy hasn't played a lot.
Yeah, they had the intentions of changing things. Like they went out and got the personnel to make the lineup in the vision that Dana Brown had. It just hasn't worked out.
No.
It's been, and I don't. That's not a fix like overnight. Like you don't just wake up one morning like, all right, we're going to see a ton of pitches today. Like no, like this is a holistic thing that they've got to. And for me, Josh, I think some of it that has been, they've got to have a little bit more awareness maybe of how a game's going. Like if Hunter Brown, and I'm just using this as an example, if Hunter Brown or Fromber just had a 26 pitch inning where they stranded 2 guys on base, maybe the first guy in the bottom of the inning doesn't swing at the first pitch, even if you're Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve is not going to take that into account.
No,
so
he can do whatever he wants.
You have to rely on other guys. I I 100% agree. You got to give the guy a breather. It's even more so now with the pitch clock being involved. But that was one of those unwritten rules in baseball where your guy labored and went out there and had a lot of pitches. Your first two guys were normally going to take the first pitch regardless. And outside of those few guys like Altuve, that they don't really wait around. But so you got to take that into account. I had to do it hundreds and hundreds of times. I think when I hit between Altuve and Springer. Springer would swing at the first pitch of the game, usually hit it out. But, then it was kind of like I was leading off the game and I knew Altuve behind me was going to swing at the first one. So you just got to have some baseball awareness. Like you nailed it, Chandler. Just have some awareness of the situation that's at hand. And with these runners in scoring positions, maybe don't sit on so many fastballs, sit on some off speed. You're chasing out of the zone and striking out a lot and just not getting the job done. Maybe, sit on something else. You're going to get an off speed pitch. Just, don't miss it. Hit a sac fly. I just talked about it. Sac flies are beautiful. You fly deep fly ball to center. If you're late, it goes to left. If it's early, it goes to right. Vice versa for the righties. But hey, something's got to change. I mean, you got a guy who's 0 for 30, over in an 0 for 30 slump. He's got to drop a bunt somewhere. Got to drop a bunt somewhere and get that guy going. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, they definitely don't have the guy that you look at as your RBI guy right now. Christian Walker, I believe, still leads the team in RBIs. Yeah, he's got 65, and it's August 21st as we
Almost
record
September.
this. Yeah, so they don't have the guy that's just, racking up RBIs for the team. That's one of the big issues is there's nobody in the lineup that you're circling of like, just get guys on in front of this guy right now and you can count on something good happening. They have guys that can do that in spurts, but they're missing a very large man who normally you would circle in your lineup. So hopefully that solves some problems here.
Yeah, and right now they don't have to pitch around anybody.
No. Yeah, and that's the thing that I think with Alvarez that doesn't get talked about enough. Like, look, I don't know that he's going to come back and be peak Yordan Alvarez after 3 months away, but just his presence, just putting him in the lineup, like forget that he's left-handed helps because it makes a pitcher have to pitch differently and the sight lines are different, but just his mere presence, like. I mean, I can say that I don't know that he's going to be effective after 3 months away, but the other team can't think like that. The other team can't think like that. The other team has to think this dude's going to hit a ball 800 feet off of me. So, it changes the entire complexion of how an opposing team manages a game, how opposing pitcher navigates the guys around Alvarez. So just getting him back will help. Trust me. But they need him to produce. I don't know that he can come back and just completely erase everything that's wrong with the lineup, but he can go a long way. He's good like that.
He can drive some runners in that you didn't get driven in before.
Yeah. So Jeffrey asked another question that Tyler and I alluded to a little bit on the last pod, but Josh wanted your take on. He asked, "What can the team do to get Cam Smith to the end of the season with a positive outlook for next season?" We talked about it, Tyler and I. Cam has not looked comfortable for about a month and a half now. And I think, and as we said on the last pod, I think we expected slumps. I mean, a 22-year-old kid that's never played above A ball isn't going to come up and have 1,000 OPS from beginning to end. Like, you expected slumps, but Josh, what can they do to maybe build some positive momentum for these last, 30, 35 games that Cam's here?
Well, he's definitely a full-on platoon guy at this point in my lineup. He's got to have those days off to where, those hard righties that are going to carve up every righty in the lineup. He needs those days off. It's hard to say because this is something teams don't really prepare for. Like, how often do you have a team that has to prepare for a guy who's played 60 games before we got here? This is just a part of his body that has to grow and learn. And the best thing they can do is just, I think we talked about it before, give him those days where you don't go out for batting practice. Like, you have a rest day. You come to the ballpark, you're going to have a rest day. You go sit in that hot tub all day. get you some contrast in. I mean, I'm always going to preach like body recovery and, strength as, credit to my career about cold plunging after games, like getting into that cold plunge tub. And it sucks every night. Did it for 13 years. It sucks every time. You never get used to it. But the way your body recovers from it is huge. When you go to bed and you just, nice and relaxed, and you wake up and everything just feels rejuvenated and ready to go. So that was my thing. He just got to find a way to keep his body strong, but I don't know. There's just got to be some work in the cage. There's always time to work in the cage when you're going through something. So they just got to find that one drill, I think, that clicks for him, and the one routine that sticks with him, because maybe he's just a little bit overexerted by everything he's done so far, and maybe they need to continue to minimize everything in his workload.
I will also say, look, it has not been a great end of the season for him by any stretch of the imagination. He also has not cratered to the point where he's like embarrassed by this. Like if the season ended today, he has a 1.5 WAR, which he's been an above average player. A lot of that is defense, but he has a 91 OPS plus. That's not good, but it's not like embarrassing for a rookie to have. So I mean, the idea that he like needs to do something in order to go into next season feeling good, I think is a little premature. Like he's already shown that he can have success at the big league level, even if it hasn't been in the last 2 months. Like he's shown that, okay, there's something in me that I am capable of doing this, and we talked about on the last episode that, really what it is just make it through the season without like messing him up mentally, where he like goes into next season feeling like he needs to prove something or something's broken with him and like he's got to fix it. Like he's been fine for a rookie who did not play minor league baseball. He's been, what you would expect a guy to look like. So, yeah, right now he's not looking good. But I mean, again, if the season ended now and you started next season, I don't think you would come into the season going like, this is a disaster. They need to fix something about him, because he'll be fine. Like he's shown that he can do that. He's in a slump, like a slump that people go through all the time. I mean, we talked about Altuve earlier this year, where he just looked lost for a month, but it's Jose Altuve, so you just assume he'll figure it out. And I think the first half of the season earned Cam Smith enough to say, yeah, he's in a slump right now, but he'll probably be fine. He's young, he needs at bats, and he's shown that he can hit. So, figure it out. It's not like panic mode or anything like that right now.
No,
career wise, anyway.
Right.
Tomorrow playing, I don't know, but career wise, I think you're fine.
Yeah, in the macro sense, Cam Smith has proven that he is a valuable piece of this team's future. Like he is going to be, and I don't think anyone questioned that, but certainly what he did at the beginning of the season, we're to a point now where like he's in uncharted territory, where like everything he does from now on is kind of lanyard. It's kind of gravy. Like, he's proven that he's the real deal. He's had stretches where he's looked every bit the top prospect that the Astros thought that they were getting in the Tucker trade. But now he's, the book's out on him. He's tired. He's playing more than he's ever played in his life. And you're to a point where it's like, all right, like this is kind of the wall. You hope next year that wall is further away, or that wall has been taken down, that there is none of this that he has to come confront. But it's where we are, and Cam Smith is going to be the focus of our DraftKings player spotlight. Josh, one of the things that Tyler and I talked about on the last episode was it's surprising to see a 22-year-old kid like Cam Smith, who is struggling as much as he is offensively. Haven't seen him throw a bat, haven't seen him spike a helmet, have not seen him take his bad at bats to right field, where he is still playing very good defense. That's not real common for a kid that has probably never failed to this extent in his life. And I think that's something that if you're the Astros, you have to take solace in.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not showing frustration, at least out in the dugout or on the field. So that's one positive. Everybody's not watching is, coming from a guy who threw his helmet every fourth at bat. It's showing a lot of things. When you're young and rookie, that changes a lot of things too, because when I first got called up the first few years before I was established, I didn't do any of that stuff because I didn't want my teammates to yell at me and have that either. So there's no telling what road he's taking, but it does show a level of maturity in him to not have that be shown, because not only is he slumping, the team's slumping, so it can weigh a lot on you as a player, as a teammate, and everything can come crashing down. So you have to commend that. But I think, they probably would like to see it a little bit. Maybe he goes underneath and does it. I don't know. Maybe it'd show him a little bit of, get it out. Just get it out. Stop holding it in and let it come out, man. And then maybe things will kind of turn around. Who knows? This may be just what he needs.
Okay, so now in addition to the zoo trip, we need to go to one of those like arcade games where you can punch the big punching bag and see what number you can get to. So
or just go to a gym.
We'll make a day of it. Oh yeah, I forgot you could do like actual physical activity and not.
I don't want to swipe my card for every punch on that machine, man. That's like $2 a swipe.
Yeah. So look, I don't expect Cam Smith to hit a home run in his next at bats, but when you look at DraftKings, there's a couple options that you can do, and the one that I'm looking at is they have a hits plus runs plus RBIs kind of total, and his is set at 1.5, which means all he has to do is get a hit with a runner in scoring position, or get a hit and score a run after that. And if he's batting ninth and he comes up to lead off an inning and gets a hit, I feel pretty confident that that's a good looking one. So that's the one that I'm looking at. Just get on base, get somebody in, get yourself in. Let's start there, building blocks, and we'll work on it from there.
Are you ready to commit to the run scored part though?
It's all combined.
That's one you got to factor in right now.
Yeah, it's all in there. Well, I mean, one home run hits it for so it's fine. He just has to get 2 of a combination of a hit plus a run or an RBI, whatever. So that's what I'm looking at for Cam Smith this weekend.
If you agree with Tyler, you can go to the DraftKings Pick 6 site. It looks like this, and find where Cam is. And you can download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers, you play $5 and you get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So I lied a little bit. The question I'm going to ask you guys, I did answer on Thursday in this mailbag, but I thought it was one that I thought it was one that you two would be interested to weigh in on, and it's from Nicholas, and he asked, as we moved into the home stretch of the season, who are the 2 players, 1 pitcher and 1 hitter, who will have the biggest impact on how this team finishes and why? Let's start with pitching. Who do you guys – I know who I said. I'll let you guys talk, though. Who do you guys think is the 1 pitcher that is going to be the most maybe instrumental or the most instructive of how this team does going forward?
I'll let you go first, Josh, because I've got a couple, so I'll take one that you don't take. Oh, you're muted. Come on, dog.
Unmute yourself.
There we go. Now you're ready.
No, you muted me.
Okay. All right. It's all my fault. I'll take it.
I didn't touch my screen.
It's all my fault.
I said I'll let you go first since you already have yours in mind.
Okay. It's Fromber. Fromber has to be really good, and he hasn't been. And it's only been a couple of starts. I'm not like overly concerned about that yet. But if Fromber is not ace level Fromber, the Astros are not doing anything. You can't rely on Hunter Brown to carry you. You can't have one good pitcher and make it through. They have to have Fromber be good and be confident out there and be a leader. And if that's not happening, I mean, the Astros are not winning a playoff series where he does not go 2 games of 6 or 7 innings and 2-run ball. That's not going to happen. They have to have him be really good. And we've seen what they can do when he is on, like in 2022, he carried them through the playoffs. So when Fromber is on, there's not a lot of pitchers like him in baseball, and they need him to be there in order for this team to do anything.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Can I just say as a whole, the bullpen, like the
Mm-hmm.
whole bullpen, like not just one, but like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a point where, Hader's not coming back. Hopefully, in the postseason, he'll be back. But like as a whole, that bullpen has to get on the same page, and Brian Abreu just has to be closer Brian Abreu, who just goes out there and absolutely just dots everything up. So as a whole, they like I said, they just need to come together and figure it out. I mean, because like you said, it can't always be Hunter Brown, it can't always be Fromber at every start, and after that, who knows? But with the way 3, 4, 5 of the rotation is being coin flipped around, that bullpen has a pretty good workload ahead of them, and they just have to accept that and find a way to get through it and succeed.
Yeah, I think you could also argue just a dart throw of any of the 3, 4, 5 guys.
Yeah.
Like if any of them, Christian Javier, like we said, has looked good in his 2 starts, tummy troubles notwithstanding. But as long as we can keep him away from bubble guts, he's looked good. Like if Christian Javier can be what he has been at his peak, like that is a season altering pitcher to have.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it all year. You need 1.5 of the like 5 guys that are in that category to catch fire for like 3 weeks in October. That's all that has to happen. If Christian Javier can catch fire for 3 weeks and be unhittable, the Astros are a much different team. If Lance McCullers can find it, or Spencer Arrighetti can get back to where he's just striking out 13 guys per 9, like any of those things happening makes the Astros like a drastically different team than they are right now.
Yeah, when I answered the question, I picked Javier, mainly because of something, you said it, Tyler, like Fromber has not been good for the past 4 starts, but he's got like enough track record to give him the benefit of the doubt that like he's got to be better. Like, don't get me wrong, but you kind of just expect him to be better. If they get like 3/4 of 2021 Christian Javier, like if he can do what he did in maybe his first start, he was on a pitch count, went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs to a very, very good Boston offense. Like after Bregman hit the homer off of him in the first inning, settled down, didn't allow another run. Yeah. If they can get that every time out, even with the stuff maybe not being at its peak, a guy that's still coming back 14 months away, like if they get that is I don't think that's hyperbole, Tyler. That's a season changing development.
For
because
sure.
We talked about this when we were talking about, all these pitchers coming back, and I don't want it to sound like I'm demeaning anything, but like I did sit here and say like Spencer Arrighetti is still a young starter. He's still a guy that's only made 30-something appearances in the big leagues and has a 5 ERA. Like to expect him to come back and be this all and to be like the savior, I thought was a little misguided. He can miss bats. He can get a ton of strikeouts, but this is still a guy that's learning at the big league level. Christian Javier has pitched on the biggest stages. He had pitched full seasons at an elite level. I think if they can get him to where I'm not saying he's got to be peak 2021, 2022 Christian Javier, but if they can get him close to that, takes pressure off Fromber, takes pressure off Hunter Brown, and more importantly, takes pressure off the bullpen. Because if he can get you into the 6th inning and you only got to cover 9 or 10 outs with a Josh Hader-less bullpen, you can navigate that much easier than trying to do, 14 to 16 outs, which is what they've been forced to do, unfortunately, as these guys are coming back on pitch counts, things like that. So for me, it's Javier. What about – I think I know the answer, and if both of you have the same answer, then we'll put a caveat, but who is the hitter that falls into this category?
The hitter that's going to help this team get to where they need to be?
Yeah.
Carlos Correa.
Ooh. Okay. I agree. I mean,
spotlight, man. He loves the spotlight. He performs well in the spotlight. he's going to catch fire, and it's going to be time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Carlos Correa can certainly change the trajectory of a team. I mean, you could look at a ton of guys in there, but I'm not going to try to pick, the fringe. Yeah, it's Jordan. If Jordan is really good, like the Astros are a very good baseball team. If he's hitting 300 and a homer every 10 at bats, which he's capable of doing, like that's a terrifying lineup all of a sudden, because again, we've talked about they keep getting guys on, they can't get them in. If Jordan's coming up with 2 guys on every other at bat, like that's terrifying if he's on. So yeah, I mean, if Jordan is anywhere near peak Jordan, that is a huge boost to the offense.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Alvarez, but I could get on board with Correa. I could get on board with Christian. I can get on board with Christian Walker.
Christian Walker, yeah, I agree too.
Because in how I believe Joe will construct the lineup when Alvarez is back, you could see Christian Walker hitting behind him a lot. And if teams are not going to pitch to Alvarez, if they're going to circle Alvarez before the series is like, all right, we don't think anybody after him can beat us, and they're going to give Alvarez nothing to hit, the onus is on Christian Walker to make that a mistake, to make them regret that mistake. So it's pretty obvious that Jordan is going to be the guy that can change the complexion of this thing and can really kind of get them going in the right direction. But, Christian Walker behind him, that's certainly a guy that could benefit a lot from hitting behind Alvarez, just the types of pitches he sees, how he's approached, things like that. I think it'll be a benefit to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear from our friends at Foul Territory one more time.
AJ, I'm on my phone right now in Arena Club, and I'm looking at the Emerald slab packs, and I see in the Grail a Bobby Witt Jr. 2020 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto Gold Refractor card.
Give me that. Give me your phone. I'm gonna get you to
you gotta buy
that to me.
I don't have it.
I thought you had it.
Get a slab pack. No, I don't have that.
Then give me your slab pack.
That card's worth.
You buy
a lot.
me slab pack, Scott, so I can get the Bobby Witt Jr. Gold Refractor 2020 Bowman Chrome Auto, because that sounds awesome.
And it's worth a lot.
It's worth a lot. He's a stud. He's not going down. Get a Grail. Get a Grail. I want a Grail, Scott. Give me the Holy Grail. You do it.
To do that, you must get yourself a slab pack in Arena Club. Or if you want to get it for a friend, you can do that too. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase. If you're going on there and you're just like, hey, I want a specific card. I find it there. I want to grab it for my showroom. arenaclub.com/foul and use the code FOUL.
Josh, got any fun memories in Baltimore?
Yeah, I debuted there.
You did. I knew that. I definitely knew that. What was that?
First homer.
Who's the first homer off of?
Brian Bass. Righty reliever, sinker slider guy. Oppo Taco, actually.
Ooh.
Sinker away.
Oppo Taco here in Baltimore?
Yeah.
It's hard to hit the ball
pre-fence.
left of the bullpen.
Okay.
It was a ball carried that really well back then. But yeah, followed my first weekend, debuted at 22, got my first hit, my first start, got my first homer the next day. So yeah, pretty cool memories there. And then I was also a part of the 2011 Red Sox walk-off of Robert Andino that year, and then Longoria literally 2 minutes later hits the walk-off to go to the playoffs.
Oh, you were in the game 162?
I wasn't in it. I was in the dugout. I had been
Yeah.
a starter that year, but JD Drew magically got better like 4 days prior to that. So
he was pretty good.
yeah, he was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I didn't realize. Yeah, man. I don't know about y'all, but my YouTube algorithm about once a month is like, hey, you want to watch that video again of the last game of the season from 2011? And it's just like a 20-minute long video, and it's got a time stamped of each game happening at the same time. And every time it pops up, I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in watching that.
Bro, we had a 2-run lead that night, and we left Carl Crawford in left field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Like, this guy has no arm. I get it, he's fast, but God, man. I'm just saying. I probably throw the guy out at home, but still.
I'll send you a screenshot next time it pops up on my YouTube, because it does happen quite a bit.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, but I'm looking now back that you made your debut on July 31st, 2009. You pinch hit for Rocco Baldelli.
I did.
You pinch hit for a major league manager. Was Tito managing the Red Sox that he wanted to give you? I think you took a pinch hit at bat in the ninth inning. That was your debut. Was that to kind of calm the nerves, get the first at bat out of the way, the first stuff out of the way, and then go in the next?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah, because like I wasn't nervous the whole night. I mean, the whole day was just a big blur and a freaking heart attack, to be honest, because I thought I'd gotten traded, being the deadline coming out, and everything. And we had just traveled like 8 hours in AA after a night game. So like got woken up at like 11 after getting in at around like 7 a.m. And then like go downstairs. My manager just goes, "Hey, you need to get all your stuff. Meet me in the lobby." I'm like, "Okay, traded." Get down there. He's like, "We don't know what's happening. Just hang out." Okay, like hour goes by. I was like, "I'm gonna go get some breakfast since I'm up." He's like, "All right, we'll come straight back." I come back with my food. He's like, "All right, nothing's happening. Go back to your room." I'm like, "All right." Literally walk in my room. My phone rings. He says, "Hey, I need you right back down to the lobby." I'm like, "Holy shit. Like, what is going on?" He goes, "All right, well, here's the deal. Like, they don't know if Ellsbury or I can't know, it wasn't Ellsbury, it was somebody, maybe, gosh, that would have been Jason Bay, I think. Whoever was going down in the DL might have gone in the DL. Like, you're going to take a 3-hour car ride to Baltimore. May or may not be activated. Hang out in the hotel for 2 days maximum. And if they don't call, you're going to come right back to us." All right. So like the whole time I'm like heart's racing. Like I might make my big league debut. I might not make my big league. Like this is just all craziness. So I'm calling everybody, telling them the plan, get to my hotel. And that was the cool part. Because if you know anything about Red Sox, that's like Fenway South. Sox fans, well, I don't know now, but used to travel there. It was a home game for us. So the team hotel is just full of Red Sox fans. They're high-fiving me because I've got my Red Sox bat bag. I got my Red Sox bag on. Like, they know who Josh Reddick is at this point. It's Red Sox fans. So go up to my room, put my key card in, and I go to walk in and my phone rings. And it's Theo. He says, "Hey, we need you at the ballpark." I'm like, "All right." So I just throw my suitcase in and turn around, come right back down, and then like get a standing ovation, hop in the taxi, and go straight to the locker room, straight outside for batting practice. I got there like 5:30, I think. So didn't really have time to kind of mingle around. But then went in there and had my first big league spread, and everybody came and congratulated me.
That's what you remember.
Hey, it was a good spread coming from AA, man.
That happens, and Josh, you know this. That happens more than you think when like a guy, especially if a team's on the road and they don't know if they're going to put somebody in the IL or not. Yep. They'll fly a guy to like, I'm just going to say like Anaheim. That's a random location. Like, let's say the Astros are in Anaheim and they're iffy on if this guy's going to be able to play or not, and if they need to put him on the IL. I mean, you can't just get a guy to Anaheim in the snap of a finger. So a lot of times they will fly a guy ahead and just have them hang out at a hotel for like an afternoon. And I'm not going to say who, but there have been a couple of instances where they have flown guys to certain destinations, guys that have not been in the big leagues. So like these guys think they're going to make their debuts, and then it just happens that, oh, like he came in feeling better today, so we can carry him on the roster, and they've got to go back to AAA. Now, I do know that everyone that has happened to has ended up making their debuts and has gotten into the big league. So it's not one of those situations where, they've denied a guy like that. That would be pretty callous, but it kind of speaks to the business of it all, though. Like, I can't imagine you were in those shoes. I can't imagine thinking like, oh man, I'm close to like a dream. I'm close to fulfilling like the biggest life goal I've ever had, only to be told, oh yeah, okay, go back to Sugarland, go back to wherever.
Yeah. It was stressful and, kind of crazy, but I mean, I remember the whole car ride I was literally on the phone the whole time. Like I had my phone plugged in and was just literally talking to people the whole time, the whole car ride. And so that kind of helped in a sense, because I don't know if I would have done if I would have just had headphones in or whatnot, because that would have been just where my mind could have been racing. So yeah, and then it was crazy because like I said, I didn't have to sit down and think about it at all, not even when I got to the hotel room. So, and even when I got there, like it was, like I said, it was just run in, throw on your stuff, go out there and just straight to batting practice. So that probably definitely helped. And then, the 8 innings that I got to just hang out in the dugout and mingle with the guys because I did go to big league camp that year, so that definitely helped me know the guys at least a little bit. Granted, I was just this 22-year-old kid, but they had at least seen my face, knew that I was around, so that helped. And David Ortiz, if you know anything about David Ortiz, he's one of the best humans on the planet. Came over, gave me a big old bear hug like he does everybody, and told me congrats and welcome. And during the game, just talked to me the whole time. I remember talking to him, Clay Buchholz, a lot during the whole game, and just sat there and took it all in, man. And Baltimore's a cathedral; it's freaking huge. So when you do the old 360, you're like, man, this place is massive. So it was definitely good to get it in there. And then if anybody knows who Clay Meredith is, relief pitcher. That was my debut pitcher, guy who throws underarm, sidearm, whatever you want to call it, at about 89 with disgusting sink. So not the most comfortable debut at bat.
Yeah. And of course you didn't have time to like prep anything either, right? Like
I didn't even, no cage. Like he didn't even give me time to warm up and like go to the cage, but it wouldn't have mattered because
they didn't have the iPads back then or anything
no.
it's just like, oh,
No.
good luck.
Back then, the visiting cage during the game in Baltimore was a pop-up net in the freaking clubhouse. And you know what I'm talking about, where you walk from the dugout up and around. Right there was the cage. So I didn't have time to do that. I was just sitting there, and Tito goes up and says, "Hey, kid, you're going to lead off for Baldelli." I'm like, the inning's over. thanks for the heads up. So I literally just went out there on the deck, on deck, loosened up, and I had a one hot rocket to the shortstop, though. So
hey,
you put the ball in play. Put the ball in play.
And then,
how was Pedroia? How was Pedroia to the right?
The best.
Really?
The best. Oh my! To me, he was the best. And it didn't really happen until 2011. I was lockered next to him when I became like a regular. So that was when New Balance was first coming into baseball, and he was their poster child. Like he was the guy. They were based in Boston, so like they were in our clubhouse every homestand, bringing him new designs. And yours truly got every design as a rookie except one. It was like his custom made style. But I had like red and black camo. I had gray and red camo for road cleats. Like Pedroia had the baddest cleats ever. And New Balance was really good and comfortable. So I was this rookie with like 10 pairs of cleats in my locker, which back then was rare, super rare. And, usually back then it was just the generic ones. But he just talked to me every day about hitting, man. Just listen to him talk his concept of hitting and how he prepared, watching him prepare. He goes, Red, when I go out, I want you to follow me and go out. So every time when he'd go to the cage, I'd go to the cage with him. When he'd go out for BP, I'd go out for when he'd walk out, I'd go out for the game. And if you know Petey would be out of the dugout like 6:30 for a 7:10 game. And so I made sure I was on his ass every time he was doing something. I was trying to learn from him because I think he just kind of wanted to teach somebody, and it showed his work ethic. So that's why I usually became one of the first ones to come out in the dugout pretty much most of my career. Like if you remember, I'd always be the first one out in Houston. I was always one of the first ones out in Oakland. So it was just about being out there and being early and being prepped. So, and he gave me the best advice. And it was so simple. Like, Red, when you're in the off season, don't even worry about your chest. Like do your core work. He said, you work on those legs because you're going to play 162 of these things. And that's all that matters. So I learned a lot from him and a lot from actually David. Like Ortiz was always like, if you're not coming out of batting practice and your back leg's not hurting, you didn't do it right. So there's just some, there were legends in that clubhouse, man. I mean, you talk about a veteran clubhouse. I was this 24-year-old kid. I think the next oldest guy was Ellsbury at like 28, 29. And, go around our infield. We had Adrian Gonzalez was there, Pedroia, Marco Scudero, Euclid, Lowell, Veritek, Saltalamacchia, Crawford, Ellsbury, JD Drew.
Look at you.
Rotation was Beckett, Lester, Buchholz, Wakefield, Lackey.
That's some old guys.
Papelbon was the closer. Bard was the setup guy. Like we had Franklin Morales.
It's honestly
Scott
not
Atchison.
It's not unlike, Josh, what Cam Smith is in, right? Like 22-year-old, like coming into a very veteran clubhouse, and it's just like, hey, you're here, do your best. So I think that is a similar setup, and I would imagine if you could design a setup for a rookie to come in, like that's what you would want. It's like, hey, come up, do your best, but the rest of the team's got you. I also just appreciate that you were like the Lieutenant Dan of cleats. You're very concerned about how comfortable the cleats are, where you're getting the cleats. You're Lieutenant Dan telling everybody to change their socks, but it's just make sure you get Pedroia's cleats. You
I
got
didn't
them
ask
going.
for them. He just passed them along. He goes, "Red, you need some cleats?" I'm like, "Yeah, who's gonna say no to these cool looking cleats, man? Like, this is 2011. This is 14 years ago before like custom cleats were a thing in baseball. So like,
Mm-hmm.
this was so awesome to be a part of as a 24-year-old rookie. Like, come on.
Man, do you know how good Kevin Youkilis was?
Oh, he was so good.
Yes.
From like 2008 to 2010, like he was incredible. Like doesn't get talked about enough, like how good he was.
And yeah,
You ever try that one in batting practice?
He was very good. Everybody's tried that in batting practice. Everybody's done that. Everybody's done the Craig Counsel. Everybody's done all that.
Gary
stuff.
Sheffield, another one you got to try. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever felt older than I forget who it was in spring training. It was an NRI in spring training. I can't remember, but I watched him take a little bit of BP and he didn't have the Counsel stance, but like he held the bat, he wagged it a little bit. And so like in spring training, you're always looking for just like reasons to go like talk to these NRIs that are like sitting there looking like they're scared of their shadow. Like they're just they're in the big league clubhouse, like not one to interfere with anyone. So like, I can't remember who, but I went up to him. I was like, "Hey man, like I saw you taking some BP. Like you got a little Craig Counsel in your batting stance." And he goes, "Oh, like the manager of the Cubs?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that guy.
He was like, "Oh, like what do you mean by his stance?" I was like,
he played.
I was
for
like,
like
he played.
14
He's like, "Oh no."
years.
He was like, "Oh no. I know he played, but like I've never seen his bat." I was like, "You've never seen his bat?" I have never felt so old. I never felt so old in my life. I was
That's
like,
not your thing. That's not on you. That's not on you. That's on that kid.
Yeah. Again, like YouTube gives me like unique batting stance clips all the time. I get those. I get Hideo Nomo pitching one of Dontrell Willis. I tried that in the backfield a million times.
Dude,
I mean,
if you're on social media and you follow plenty of baseball accounts, and there's
you're
always
see
stuff
those.
where like you see like I'm at my nephew's birthday party, like 8 beers deep, and it's just highlights of like Barry Bonds hitting kids deep.
Heck yeah, that's a
it,
great
like,
party.
like where you at? Like that's where you got to be. Come on, man. Like there's always going to be a Craig Counsel meme or a video somewhere.
Speaking of Josh, we went to a birthday party a couple weeks ago, and Olivia was one of the youngest ones there, and is also very small. But there was a piñata, and that girl was ripping the piñata. She was the one knocking stuff off. All the parents around us were like, "Look at that swing!" Like I was like, "Okay, we're doing something right over here."
So that just goes to show you that she's watching a lot of Astros baseball too.
She's watching plenty, despite her best efforts. She has to watch some baseball with me.
And if you're taking Olivia or Maverick or Ryder or whoever to a birthday party and you need a present, may I give you Crush City Territory?
Boom.
CrushCityTerritoryShop.com. You can shop. There's hats, there's beanies, there's hoodies, there's shirts, coffee cups, traveling water bottles, traveling coffee mug that listener Ross Pollock ordered, said he loves it. So scan the QR code there, or go to CrushCityTerritoryShop.com to solve all of your birthday party needs. The holidays are not far away either. Christmas is coming, or any other holiday you celebrate around that time. Get stuff at CrushCityTerritoryShop.com. Please do that. And while you're doing it, you can like and subscribe and rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. You can comment on the Spotify episodes if you so choose. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified every time we post a new podcast. You can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. Josh is at JRedDubDeuce. And then Tyler is at Tyler C. Stafford. We will be back at the conclusion of this Orioles series to reassess where the Astros are. Maybe they have stopped. Maybe they have ascended from rock bottom and kind of stabilized things out. We'll talk about that after this series. So as always, thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Later.